Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today on the Delaware Student Success Admissions and Student Panel with the University of Delaware. My name is Karen Keegan from the Department of Education, and I'm really glad that you're able to join us today. I want to acknowledge our partners in running these webinars and many of our other initiatives. Kelly Sheritz is in the background running this webinar. She and her team from the University of Delaware's Institute for Public Administration partner with us, so we thank them for their work and their partnership over many years. So I just want to go over a few pieces of information with you before I turn it over to the University of Delaware team. We are doing these admissions and student panel events with all of our Delaware colleges and universities, and they have all been recorded and they will be posted on our delawarestudentsuccess.org website. There's a button on the homepage that says view recorded webinars. So we've heard from students from all of our colleges, a quick admissions overview, what you need to do to apply to our colleges. And then every school has had students talking about their experiences on campus, why they chose the school, what they're studying, just their experiences. And it's a really valuable experience and information for high school students and parents and families to hear. Even if you're not interested in a particular school, it's very helpful to learn about the college process and what it's like to be a college student, no matter what campus you're on. They all have different experiences, and they were really, really amazing students to hear from. So I would urge you, if you have a chance, to listen to some of the other presentations as well. One thing I want to let you know about is that the Department of Education has a texting program for high school students for 9th through 12th graders. Parents and caregivers are welcome to join as well. And the texting program is run by me from the Higher Education Office and our team from the Institute for Public Administration. And we send out about 2 text messages a week to let students and families know about activities like this, or college open houses, or things to think about for your next steps after high school. So all different pieces of information. And the amazing thing with this is you can text us back and ask questions. So if you are not sure where to start, or you have a question about a school or financial aid or anything like that, you can text us and we will answer back via text. And so when you sign up, you text the word success to 302-492-2092. And we ask you for your first name, your last name, your year of graduation, and your school, and that's it. And of course, you can opt out at any time. So I encourage you to take advantage of that. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Tim Danos from the University of Delaware's admission team. So thank you, Tim, and thank you to all the students, and to Terrence also from UD's admissions team for being with us today.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone. And it's so great to be here and be with all of you. So my name is Danos. I'm the associate director of pre-college programs at UD in the Office of Undergraduate Admissions. So for us, a lot of our students from Delaware are always asking, how do you apply? You know, is the University of Delaware a place that I can see myself? So for us, we always want to make sure that Delawareans know that we definitely have a commitment to our Delaware State residents. 90% on average of students that apply from the state of Delaware are accepted in some capacity. Typically, about 65% are accepted to our Newark campus, and about 25% are accepted to our Associates in Arts program at either our Dover campus, our Wilmington campus, or our Georgetown campus. So we definitely try to make sure that Delaware is very accessible for our students. So on these slides, this gives you an idea of what you need to do to apply to go to the University of Delaware. And I'm going to frame it by giving you a little bit more context. So the first thing that we're going to be looking for is making sure that you can be academically successful at the university. So the first thing we're going to look at is your self-reported academic record, the SRAR. This is something that a lot of colleges are starting to use now, where instead of your high school counselor sending us your transcript, you would actually fill in your grades from 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade, and let us know what classes you took. So when we're looking at this, We want to see the trend in the grades that you've had. We want to look at the classes that you've had at your high school. And we also want to make sure that you're well prepared for what you want to study. So if you know you want to go into a STEM heavy field, have you taken physics? Have you taken biology? Have you taken chemistry and done well in those courses? On the math side, have you taken at least pre-calculus for your math, though calculus is more preferred? Those are the kind of things we're looking for there. We also have programs in business where you would need to have at least pre-calculus for your mathematics preparation. So those are the things that we're looking for when it comes to your grades, classwork, things like that. We also do look at the context. So we know not every student starts off with perfect grades in ninth grade, but it gets better over time and you have a nice upward trend. And we're also aware that there's a lot of students who may have struggled with online learning, especially over the past 18, 19 months. So we are aware of those challenges. And as long as we can see that you're on an upward trend, those kind of things do help us out. We are also test optional for Delawareans and for all students. So if you do have SATs or ACTs and you feel strong about those scores, you certainly submit them to us. If you have not taken them, that's okay too. And we will definitely take that into account. We also look at your school counselor letter or your secondary school report to make sure that we get an idea of how you operate within your school environment. We're also going to look at your essays to get an idea of what you're passionate about, what you care about, and what you can bring to the UD community. And we accept both the common application or the coalition application. So those are the things that we're going to be looking for. We definitely encourage students to participate in College Application Month so that you can be able to apply to the university and also make sure that you have your application fee waived. I want to give you an idea of our timeline. So our first deadline that's coming up is November 1st. So we have early action deadlines at UD. And that's not early decision where you have to make a binding commitment to go to the university. So for us, our first deadline is coming up on November 1st. We definitely recommend applying for that deadline, especially if you're thinking about a very selective program or a program that has a low capacity, such as nursing, engineering, health sciences, business, etc. And then we also have our January 15th deadline for how you can apply. So make sure that you've gotten your application by January 15th. Once we have all the materials in our system, it usually takes us about 8 to 12 weeks or so to provide you with the decision. So hopefully that gives you a rough idea of how you apply, when to apply, what we're looking for as we go through the process. I will be putting in the chat a link so that you can learn a little bit more about our admissions requirements. And you can also be able to get connected with your admissions counselor from the state of Delaware. So if you go on there, you can see Meet My Counselors, and you can connect with who your counselor is from Delaware. So myself, Terrence here, and many other colleagues work with our Delawareans. We love getting to work with all of you. And actually, this is a perfect segue to pass it over to Terrence, who's going to introduce our Blue Hen ambassadors, tell you a little bit about the student experience here on campus.
All right, thank you so much, Tim. That was awesome. Great overview. My name is Terrence DeGroot. I am the Assistant Director for Multicultural Recruitment at the University of Delaware in the Office of Admissions. And I'm so excited to be here with you all tonight. Just a few things in the office. I work very closely with some of our student leaders, our diversity and enrichment leaders, very closely with our visit experience team and our lovely Blue Hen ambassadors who are joining us tonight. Some of my territories include the Newcastle territory, the Baltimore area, and also the Philadelphia County. So again, we are so excited to be here with you tonight. At this time, I'm going to have the Blue Hen ambassadors introduce themselves. As they turn on their cameras, they're gonna introduce themselves. And then after that, we're gonna go into a series of questions for about 25 minutes or so, or until we get the signal to stop. We are definitely going to take some time to answer some questions that you all have submitted to your leadership team, who have then shared that with us. I do have that handy, so we will definitely be asking those specific questions. All right. Like it was mentioned earlier, please feel free to ask questions in the chat as we go along. Myself and Mr. Tim we'll try and do our best to get to all of your questions, we promise, all right? So I am going to start with Michael Beebe. If you can kick us off with introductions and we will go down the line.
Everyone, my name is Michael Beebe. I'm a senior from Ocean City, New Jersey. I'm a triple major in economics, public policy, and Spanish with a minor in legal studies. On campus, I do undergraduate research for a school of public policy. I'm in our honors program and also a peer mentor and a tutor for the economics department.
Thanks, Michael. Nicole.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nicole Donato. I'm from Wilmington, Delaware. I went to Concord High School. So if there's anyone here from Concord, shout out Concord. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a junior history education major, and I have a minor in political science. Along with being a Blue Hen ambassador or a campus tour guide, I am also a resident assistant in the dorm. So if you guys have any questions about residence life and housing and stuff, I'd be happy to answer that because that is where I am sitting right now. And I'm also a social media ambassador here on campus, which basically means that I just post a little bit about my life on my Instagram and Twitter handle, Blue Hen Nicole D.
Thank you, Nicole. John.
Good evening, everyone. My name is John Eichler. I'm from Dover, Delaware, so about an hour south from here. So again, another Delaware native. Gotta love Delaware. And I'm a junior woman and gender studies major. And a few things I do on campus besides being a tour guide. I'm a peer mentor for first year experience classes all first year students must take. I'm involved with our Planned Parenthood student action group here on campus. And I'm also a peer supporter at a local mental health center here in Newark.
Thank you, John. Bethany.
Hi, everyone. I'm Bethany Anderson. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm from Wallingford, Pennsylvania. It's about 20 minutes south of Philly. I'm an operations management major with a minor in management information systems, and I'm a junior here at Delaware. And outside of being a tour guide, I am also in the social sorority Pi Beta Phi.
Thank you, Bethany. Emma.
Hi, everyone. My name is Emma Churgan. I'm from Rockland County, New York. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a junior here with a communications major and then double minors in advertising and political science. And then outside of being a Blue Hen ambassador, I'm also in the social sorority Alpha Epsilon Phi. And then I'm also in the club here, Public Relations Student Society of America.
Thank you, Emma. And last but not least, Jacob.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jacob Galvin. I use he, they pronouns, and I'm from Westchester, Pennsylvania, which is about an hour and some change north of University of Delaware's campus. I am a senior, and I am studying international relations and women and gender studies with a minor in sexuality and gender studies. Besides being a tour guide, I am involved with some clubs here on campus. Most notably, I am the treasurer for the Lavender Programming Board, and that is just a club at the university that centers a lot of programming around the queer community.
Thank you so much, BHAs, for joining us tonight. And the first question on the floor is, why did you choose University of Delaware? And anyone can start in any pattern, and you know how we do. You just hop in, hop out, and I'll move on if depending on the pace of questions. So we'll go with that flow. Okay, anyone can start.
I'll hop on first just because I am a Delaware native. So I just want to talk about why a first state person would want to stay in Delaware for college. Beyond one, just that free application, which I really enjoyed, and also just loving the campus and feeling still like really close to home, but also not feeling like I'm in Delaware, even being on campus. It's a whole different universe being at the University of Delaware. But also it's an amazing university. I thought I wanted to leave Delaware. I looked all around, up and down the East Coast, trying to find some other options, was looking at all these other schools. But the University of Delaware really was the place for me. And through all of our different amazing resources and options, I know that I made an amazing choice. And I also really appreciated that in-state tuition. So I got to throw that out there as well.
I can hop in now. So for me, I'm from New York, so I'm not from here at all. But when I came to this university, it was one of the first ones I toured. I fell in love with the school. Visiting, like all the students had the same positive energy. And it's like cheesy to say, but I literally fell in love with the campus being here. The buildings are really nice. If you ever do get a tour around here, I'm sure you'll fall in love with it just like I had.
I can say why I went next. So my mom actually came to Delaware, and every year, every summer, she would meet up with her college friends at the grottos on Main Street, and we would all meet up. And every year, I just saw how close they were. It was always like they never even left college, like they were still just as close as they were when they were in college. And I knew I really wanted to make bonds like that. Like I wanted relationships that my mom had made when she came here. And also, just every time I came to campus, I literally just fell in love with the school more and more. Every year I was like, I need to come here. And then when I was touring other schools, like I just was always like comparing them to Delaware. And really just none of them ever felt like home to me like Delaware did. And it really is the best decision I ever made. So I did find those connections I was looking for and made really great friends and everything. So
I'll jump in. So, like John, I'm also from Delaware. And I'll be honest with you guys, I was kind of terrified coming here initially. I was like, I don't want to have like high school round two. I was like, I don't want to be with the same kids I've been with since I was like 5 or 6. I got here and I was pleasantly surprised that I would see kids from my high school. I would wave to them and walk away and go hang out with my new friends that I made in my residence hall, in my classes. And that's pretty much still how my experiences is now as a junior. I'll see kids from my high school be like, hey, and then I'll go move on and hang out with my other friends who I've made since I got here. And I also love the UD because, well, in-state tuition is great. It definitely helps a little bit because college is kind of expensive. But I also like being close enough to home. So if I want to go home and do my laundry, or if I want to go home and have a home cooked meal, I can mooch off my family for the night and then still come back and be in my residence hall to sleep for classes the next day. So perks.
I can jump in. So like Bethany, my mom also went here, but I was on the other end of the spectrum. I was like, my mom went here, I'm not going here. So this was the last school I toured. However, it like immediately shot up to the #1 spot because like I stepped on campus and I was like, oh, I understand why my mom loved this place so much. And then like getting to see everything, getting to hear about my programs, I realized just how well it would work for me. And like I said, I'm an hour from my home. So it was nice to sort of have the balance of like my parents aren't gonna like pop in and be like, oh, hey, we're surprising you, but I can also like go home whenever I needed to. So it was like a really, really nice balance between home, being away from home, amazing programs, and honestly, just a beautiful, beautiful environment, just like all around. So that's why I chose UD.
For me, it really came down to 3 things. The first of which was the community. As soon as you step on campus, you can tell that we're a really close knit community, and that was just something that I didn't feel when I toured other schools. The second thing was our academic flexibility. So again, when I would tour other schools and talk to admissions counselors and professors and other students, and I would say that I wanted to double major in economics and public policy, they would go on about how they're in 2 different schools and how it might be hard to double major. When I asked the same question at UD, they said not only can you double major, but if you want to add that third major, you can too. So now I'm a triple major across 3 different schools, which is really just a beneficial experience. And then the third thing for me was the size. So we have about 17,000 undergraduate students. So we're a mid-sized institution. So it's big enough that you have like the big school resources in terms of research opportunities and internships and things like that. But it's also small enough that you're always going to recognize people in your classes and walking around campus as well.
Awesome. Thank you all. That was great. That was a wonderful introduction. Very, very great answers. The next question. So it's a 3-part question, but I'm just going to ask it all at once. So, because they all kind of intertwine in some way. What is it like to be a first-year student on campus? Is there an active social life? And what do you do on the weekends?
I actually just talked about this weekend. I'm a senior now, so I was talking to my friends that are also seniors about how much we missed our first year, which might sound weird because you would think that your social life might get a little bit more active as you progress. But honestly, your first year when you're living with a couple hundred other people right there in the same building, it's astonishingly easy to make friends and have that really active social life. As you progress and you move off campus and things like that, actually it's harder to have that interaction. So at least for me, I know that first year was definitely the easiest interaction, very easy to have that active social life.
Yeah, I agree with Michael. I would still go back to freshman year. That being in the residence hall where actually met my friend Bethany. That was one of my favorite times. And then the RAs, which Nicole is, they actually bring the whole community together and they like have everyone meet everyone. And it's really easy to get to know people. And I made most of my friends now are from my first year. So yeah.
All right, thank you all. We'll hop to the next question. So let's see. What are some scholarship opportunities available for Delaware students and residents? If you all know.
I can speak a little bit briefly, but I know also you can get in contact with admissions counselors and also our financial aid services office, and they know so much knowledge just about all the different scholarship opportunities. But I know that we have just based on GPA and a lot of different merit scholarships, which are all across the board. In-state students do have even more options, especially with that in-state tuition, but also have special scholarships. I know I have a friend who just came to University of Delaware from Dover, and they were given large amounts of grants, thousands of dollars that I know that out-of-state students were not given. So there's so many, and they didn't even have to apply for it. They just, when they submitted their FAFSA, they were given this scholarship and these grants just automatically with their application. So half the time, you don't even have to put in that much work. It's literally just filling out the paperwork, which is the hardest job.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, John. So I do want to switch gears a little bit about campus life. So I know we have an RA on board. So one of the questions is, how are the residence halls on campus and what is it like to build a community there?
So I'm an upper division resident assistant. So my residents, most of them, okay, it's a little different because the last year we have been virtual. So I have some sophomores who have never lived on campus before, but they already have their like established social circles. So like I wasn't taking them all around campus, but I know first year RAs, they'll do 1743 welcome events with their first year students. They'll take them into the dining halls with the other kids on their floor, just kind of like so you can get to know the people that you're living around. They'll do monthly floor meetings. We have the NET team, which is like community empowerment. So students can create SIPs or student initiated programs and get funding from Res Life. So they can do these within the lounges in the community. Like tomorrow in South Central, where I'm an RA, Newcastle, the building next to us, they're actually having a cookie night. So the residents are going to make cookies together and then they're going to eat them while having their monthly floor meeting. So there are so many opportunities where you can get to know the kids like within your residence hall. And one thing, if you guys end up coming here, first year you're required to live on campus. My best advice to you is keep your doors open, get a doorstop, bring one with you and prop that door open the first couple of weeks. People will poke their heads in, be like, hi, my name's Nicole, like, what's your name? And then they'll be like, do you want to get dinner? And then like, that's just the way I made a bunch of my friends during my first year. So if you take anything away from anything I say, do that.
Anybody just want to chime in on their Res Life experience? If not, still be okay.
Yeah, I can add in a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm like not an RA or anything, but just living my first year in a residence hall, lived in Russell, and like I did meet Emma here, and like she is one of my best friends now. So it is just a really great community. Like we all really did just like have our doors open all the time, hang out in the hallways constantly, and just like I get kind of like what Nicole said, like we would all just kind of like pop in and be like, oh, we're getting dinner if you want to come, like just stuff like that. It was just a really big community and everyone just got so close, constantly hanging out. So it was, and like we would be in like Perkins, the student center, the library, and like just see someone from our residence hall and just like sit with them. So it is a really great community. You do meet a lot of really great people in there. So
John, did you have anything?
I really was just gonna mirror that. I remember having so many fun events in my residence hall and meeting so many amazing people. I know that we had like with Halloween right around the corner, we had Halloween movie nights and candy nights, and it just was always so much. I miss living on campus now that I live off campus. I really wish I could always have that time back.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you all. So switching gears a little bit. So what is your major or minors? And why did you choose that major?
So I'm a history education major, and then I have a minor in political science. I came into college as an elementary teacher education major, and I was like kind of iffy about it. I took one history class here, and I started getting excited about these smallest details, and I was looking forward to going to class. I knew I wanted to be a teacher, and I had one teacher in high school who like completely changed the way I looked at history. So between the history class that I took my first year here and then my AP United States history teacher in high school, I was like, wow, I just like I want to make kids excited to learn, and I want to teach kids history that like I didn't learn when I was younger. I want to make them excited the same way that I am for it.
So I came in business undecided. I like knew that I wanted to do something with business, but I wasn't really sure what. I didn't really know all like the specific majors and what it all was. So the first year you take like a BUAD 110 class, which is like your introduction to business class. And that kind of takes you through all of the different business like majors that they have here at Delaware. Every week is like a different major. So after taking that course, I kind of looked at it and looked at all the like majors that we like learned about, and I realized that I really loved the operations and management information systems like weeks. I did really well in them and like just thought that they made sense, and it seemed like something that I really would be interested in. So that is how I chose my major from there.
Anybody else?
For me, I knew that I always wanted to go to law school. So when I was thinking about majors, I read a lot online about how economics prepares you well for like the foundations of taking like the LSAT, which is the pre-law school entrance exam, and just like the sort of thinking. So I chose that. And I wanted to go into like a public interest or like a public service sort of law. So then I had my public policy major. And then I've started taking Spanish in kindergarten. So I've always just had I guess a passion for it and an understanding of it. So it made sense to continue that on as well.
No, great. All right. So how was the food on campus? Talk about the best dining experiences. How's the food on campus?
I know that I'm like talking a lot, but it's okay. I think, am I the only one here who still lives on campus? Yes? Yes? Okay. So it's weird enough. I actually miss dining hall food when I didn't live on campus throughout the pandemic. It sounds very odd because a lot of schools have horrible reputations for food, but Caesar Rodney being one of the largest dining halls on the East Coast, just a slight flex for UD, they always have like a wide variety of food. So like you're not just eating the same 3 things every single night. They have like 14 different stations. So if anyone who's here is like kosher free, vegan, vegetarian, any kind of dietary restrictions, there's always options. My personal favorite thing that Caesar Rodney has is the tater tots and the grilled cheese. Those are like my 2 favorite things. And anytime I see that on the menu, I go running because it's very good. I honestly really enjoy being back on campus and being able to eat in the dining halls again.
Yeah, I second Nicole there. When I went off campus my second year, I still kept that meal plan, and I would go to the dining hall an astonishingly high number of times. The freshman 15 was definitely real for me. I would go to like second dinner, sometimes third dinner. So it is a little bit dangerous to get the unlimited meal plan. And then this weekend we're having an admissions event, and one of the perks of this is that we as tour guides get the free dining hall pass for the day. So I'm definitely really excited to go back there. I haven't been there in like 2 years. That's gonna be a good time.
And then a small plug also is in all of our dining halls, we serve U-Dairy ice cream. And we have to say it's the best ice cream you'll ever have. They also have Italian ice. And I know Michael said he had 2 dinners. I had 2 desserts often. I would like just double fist like ice cream, water ice, be set for the night. And like the great thing is that they'd also be open late into the night as well. They have to-go options. So if you're on the go or you just don't feel like eating in there, you can go eat in your room. I would literally go with friends. I made friends this way in my residence hall by being like, do you want to go get some ice cream? It'd be like 9 at night. And we would be like, yeah. So we would just go and get some ice cream, and it was always just a great time.
And also, I just want to add about Main Street. Main Street is a long strip of about 75 plus restaurants, cafes, tons of different dining options. Some of my favorites are Homegrown and Roots, and some other great El Diablo, some delicious stuff out there. So definitely some other dining options. They're definitely on Main Street in case ever want to branch out. Just a quick walk away, and you can walk right back on campus and hang out on the green, with your lunch there. So definitely a lot of flexibility and a lot of resources around our campus community for you to have. All right, thank you all. So the next question is, are fraternities and sororities popular on campus? What is that culture like, if anyone is a part of our Greek organization? You are welcome to talk a little bit about that, or know friends, and you could go along that line.
I am involved in Greek life, but only a third of our campus is involved. And then that ranges from social, professional, multicultural, and service. But I am in a social sorority. And I do have a ton of friends that are in that from meeting people through that whole community. But I also have a ton of friends that are not in that community, but they're in other communities, and they found their friends through like all the clubs that we have. We have over 350 registered student organizations here at the university. But again, with Greek life, I enjoy it. I thought it would better my community. And it's a lot of fun too, being in it. And then we also have a lot of panhellenic community. Yeah.
Kind of going off what Emma said, I am involved in it also. And it is like the whole like Greek life community is kind of just one big community. All of like the panhellenic like sororities and the like fraternities and everything, they all go to like each other's philanthropy events. Like yesterday my sorority actually held like a dodgeball tournament, and like other fraternities and sororities all like signed up for it and like competed against each other to raise money for my philanthropy. So we do like all kinds of sororities and fraternities do events like that, where like it gets kind of everyone together. And we have like date parties and stuff too sometimes, like for them, which is just like fun events. But it is really like philanthropy focused and just like meeting people and like having a good time. So it is really great if it is something you want to get involved in. But again, it's only about a third of our campus, so you also absolutely don't have to if it's not something that you're interested in.
Absolutely, thank you all. Have anyone on the panel, BHS, have anyone studied abroad? Anyone study abroad or know anyone who have studied abroad? Are you able to talk a little bit about their experience, or just from what that perspective looks like from a student perspective? I can give an overview of admissions in a second.
So we had a summer group of Blue and Ambassador tour guides. Two of them, Justin and Isha, are currently doing their second round of Abroad for the UD World Scholars Program. I believe that they're in Prague. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, I see head nods. That's good. They're in Prague. So for the World Scholar Program that's offered here at the University of Delaware, you'll go abroad your first semester of your first year, and then you can go abroad your first or second semester of your junior year. One of my residents is actually going abroad spring semester for her second round of World Scholars. We also have smaller winter sessions. We have smaller micro sessions for study abroad. So like me, the idea of being away from my home for a full semester makes me want to cry. And I definitely do want to study abroad before I graduate. We have winter sessions for winter and summer sessions that are offered. They're about 3 to 4 weeks long. So if you wanted to go abroad while still taking classes and working towards graduating on time, you could totally do that. As for Justin and Isha, their Snapchat stories are full of nothing but awesome experiences. I'm kind of like living vicariously through their social media posts. I think a lot of us here might be. But yeah, it's a really great experience, and about a third of our students will study abroad during their time at the University of Delaware.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to kind of add on to that, students are able to study abroad a few times at UD in the fall or spring semesters for the entire duration of the time. Like Nicole mentioned, studying abroad during the winter session. Fun fact is when we do break for final exams in December, students are pretty much off until the spring semester starts in February. So lots of time between there to study abroad for about 6 to 8 weeks, or take up to 2 classes. or just stay at home and enjoy, the rest of the time at home with your family and friends and work part-time jobs and stuff like that. So that's totally up to you, but it's a fun fact about our winter session and a little bit of what that looks like. Thank you all. So we're narrowing down to our last few questions. And give me 1 second, a few clicks away. All right, so what resources are available for students that are undecided? And are students able to change their major after they select one?
I can get us started on this. So the amazing thing about the University of Delaware is our University Studies program. This is where you can just come in undecided and you have your first full 2 years. So your first 4 semesters here at the University of Delaware to explore all of our majors, all of our classes, and you have amazing help along the way with an advisor within that program who knows about everything available here. They'll ask you about your interests and you get to really hone your education to make it your own. That's the beauty of college. And I always like to plug that my best friend here at UD changed her major 4 times and she's still graduating within 4 years. So it's possible. And she did not stay within the same area. She went from like psychology to environmental science and is graduating a stat major. So you have a lot of options, people.
I think John summed it up well, but a cool thing that we do have is if like Bethany mentioned earlier, if you want to go to the business school, but you're not sure what specific major within that, you can come in as a business undeclared. So it gets you admission to that specific school, but you have time to figure out your major while you take some of like the core business classes. And we do the same thing for the engineering school as well.
And also just to add on, we have 150 majors, we have about 100 minors, and over 50 4+1 programs. Special thing about 4+1 programs is that you can graduate with the specific majors that fall under that category. You can actually graduate with your master's degree in just 5 years. So definitely something to look into. I actually posted the link for our Find Your Major page in the chat. So definitely take some time to navigate our majors and get acquainted with some of what we have to offer at UD. All right. So just going on to one of the last 2 questions. So what is it like to have to get jobs on campus? How easy is it to get jobs and internships on campus?
I do know a couple ways you can get jobs is like, I know you can get jobs at like the gym. Also you can work for like our 2 student centers as well. So like, there are a bunch of different opportunities like just in that are like pretty simple jobs of just like taking people in, and like helping out around there. But I also know there are a lot of internships like through the university, like over winter session or over the summer, that they post on like Handshake and other opportunities like your advisors. You can reach out to your advisors and ask about all of those too. But there are a lot of really great resources around campus.
In between the student employment opportunities through the university and everything on Main Street, if you want a student job to earn extra money while you're in school, there's always something available. And then in terms of like internships, our career services, and specifically the career services located within specific schools, is really great. So I know for myself, I've had, I think, 7 different internships in 3 years. So a lot of that is the fact that we have our winter session, which just gives our students really an extra season to intern compared to other schools, because we do have that 6-week session. And then like Delaware companies and Delaware politicians and stuff know that our students do have that. So there's like specific internship programs designed around Delaware's winter session. So it really does help our students out with that.
All right, thank you so much. Sweet. So we do want to start wrapping up, and I do want to end on BHAs. I do want to end with with the way you end your tours. I forgot the name of the actual, please help me out. How do we say it?
A warm and fuzzy.
Yes, there you go. Your woman fuzzies, if you can please, there you go. Thank you so much. If you can end by each of you saying your woman fuzzies just to kind of close us out, and then I'll pass it back over to our wonderful leadership tonight. Anyone can start.
I want to get us started. And I also want to address one of the questions in the chat as well about asking about a diverse student body. It's because we all of us BHAs take this topic very seriously. We all recently just went and learned so much more about our campus and everyone that's really represented here. And I know I've learned a lot about all of the different people and all the different backgrounds and identities that are represented here at the University of Delaware. We have so many different student organizations dedicated to these groups. Like I know Jacob mentioned that they are part of our Lavender Programming Board for LGBTQ plus students. I'm also in the LGBTQ plus community. I love going to their events, but beyond that, literally a plethora that we could all discuss. We have our Center for Black Culture, which is a whole building just dedicated to the Black community here at UD, but its doors are open to everybody, but they do so many fun, amazing programming. They have a block party. They have a mentoring program for incoming Black students as well as transfer students, and just so many other things. And I know it would be so amazing to be paired with mentors here at the University of Delaware, and we offer that for so many other different students and identities as well. But the list could go on and on. You can find out so many more about all these different student groups as well through a website called Student Central online, and they also have social media. And it's a great way to find out about just all the different organizations and communities that are represented here that you can get involved with. But with all the students represented here, that's why I love the University of Delaware. I love meeting so many new people. This job has introduced me to so many more people, and I truly love my time here at UD.
Thank you so much, John. I did not even see that question. Just to also add, we're also representing, like Michael mentioned earlier, of our student population being roughly around 18,000 undergraduate students. We also do recruit across 45 different states and 68 different countries, which pretty much means that every day on campus may be different for you. You have an opportunity to meet a new friend and see a new face, and every single day. And there was another question about, making friends. And I know you all talked a lot about that, but definitely at the beginning with the induction ceremony, and, being there with the rest of the faculty and staff members and, and all the rest of the students that are there for you. We're all in this together. So thank you so much. I'm going to pass it back over to Nicole to share her Roman Fuzzy. And then once everyone wraps up, we'll be all set. Thanks.
So I know I briefly mentioned earlier that I am from Delaware myself, and I kind of told you guys a little bit about how I was terrified coming in to UD because I didn't really want to relive high school. I wanted a new experience. So I'm still friends with the kids who I met in my first year residence hall. We were super tight. We had an intramural volleyball team, and we would play with other first year residence halls in the area. I chose UD partly because I am an in-state student, but also because it's close enough to home where I'm not insanely far away. I can go home, but also the University of Delaware had a really good education program. It's really highly rated throughout the country. And I know a lot of people who left UD, graduated, and immediately got a job afterwards. And the reason why I'm here talking to you guys tonight, I'm a Blue Hen Ambassador resident assistant. And why I chose to stay at UD is just honestly because of the community that we have here. Everyone is so warm and welcoming and accepting. You're never greeted with an angry face by anyone on campus. Everyone's just really pleasant to be around. And then another reason why I love UD is because of my major. I've loved history ever since I was a little kid. And my professors who I've taken for all of my history courses have just made me even more excited to learn, and they've really inspired me to want to be educators like they are someday. So that's the biggest reason why I love UD, and why I will always talk about how much I love UD.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I kind of said it before why I chose the school. I just fell in love with it when I was walking around. Every time I visited it, I just, again, fell more in love with the school. But then more on the reason why I chose to stay at this school was definitely because being the size of the campus, as we said before, 70,000 undergrads. So it is a little big, But when I'm walking around, that's my favorite part of the school, walking around and just seeing people I know. And as you meet more people, you'll see more familiar faces, and you just give like that quick, like, hey, that brings me so much excitement. I like walk around just looking for people. My head's always moving. And that's my favorite part of the school. I love that it is so walkable and I can see all those familiar faces. And it just, I'll emphasize this as much as I can. It is really easy to make friends at the school as long as you put yourself out there and try to make the friends. Because no matter what group you're in, you'll always find someone that has similar interests as you do.
All right. And I kind of said also earlier why I came here. Like my mom came here and I just was always visiting the school and I just like kept falling in love with it more and more. But I stayed here too, like kind of like what they were saying, like because of the people that I've met, literally every single person that I've met is like amazing and everyone's so nice and helpful. But also like all my classes that I've taken have just been so engaging. All of my professors are so great, so helpful. I've learned so much and I like go into every class wanting to learn because they do make it so fun and exciting. And I just have loved all of the resources that I've gotten here. So it has been.
I can jump in. So the reason why I stayed at this university is like 100% because of like the amazing people, but like more specifically the professors here. Like even in your like introductory lectures that could be like 200 people, they're always going to be able to point you out in a crowd, and I've always just felt so supported. You go to office hours, they know you by name, they take stock in what you're learning, they give you like the tips, the tricks, and all that kind of stuff. They help you understand what you're interested in, and honestly, I felt so supported by these people to the point where like now my end goal is to become a professor myself, because I just love the work that they do and I want to be able to continue that work. So that's honestly the reason why I stayed, is just like the support staff, the people here that take stock in you as a student. It's just really, really special.
And I'll close it out. So when I was applying, I always rated UD at the bottom of my list, and I never really considered it a serious option for me. I honestly didn't even tour until the end of May. So I ended up getting into I think it was the 7 schools that I had initially rated higher. And I toured each of them twice, and I really tried to fall in love with them because maybe they were higher ranked or whatever. But I just never did. So I came to UD for our accepted student day, which was 2 days before the deposit deadline. And I just immediately fell in love with the campus and the community feel that I just never got at any of those other schools. So I really felt like this was someplace that I could live at, not just be a student at for the next 4 years. So I actually submitted my deposit on the way home from that in the car. Very excited, and I still am to this day.
Those were such great stories. I think everyone is done. Is that right? Are you guys?
Yes. Yes.
So but first I want to give credit to the whole idea of doing these student panels to Michael, because he was working with us on some different projects, and we were trying to figure out what high school students and families might find most helpful to learn about college. And he said, why don't we do student panels? So thank you, Michael. These have been hugely successful and really informative for our students. And I want to answer just really quickly one question in the chat about College Application Month, just to make sure people know what that is. That's a statewide effort that every public high school and charter school in the state participates in, where seniors get time during the school day to work on college applications. So your school will be participating starting next week through right before Thanksgiving. So every
November
school
19th.
every school picks what week they want to do college application week. So you can check with your school counselor if you don't know. If you're a senior on this call, you'll be getting a postcard in the mail from us talking about college application week, which should be arriving any day now. So that's what college application week is. So, think about where you want to apply, and then you'll have some help in school with your applications, or at least getting a start on them. So thank you to all of our students for being here. You guys are super impressive. I wish you all the best. And thanks to all the high school students and families who joined us today on the webinar. The recording will be posted on our DelawareStudentSuccess.org website, probably next week sometime. And thank you also to Terrence and to Tim for representing the admissions team from University of Delaware. So thank you, everyone, and have a good night.